noticed how limitation really straightens things out and also puts priorities first, as well as gives motivation, as well as creativity. Like limitation breeds so much beauty, actually. Something that you might have experienced tangibly in your own life before, that you might have noticed, okay, if I just have a vacation or I just booked a one-way ticket somewhere and I stayed abroad for longer, it wasn't the same feeling as knowing, okay, this is the end date. Now I have this many days. Now I really make them count. I think that makes so much sense. If we have it too short, it may stress us out or tests our capability and capacity. If we have, a lot of deadlines, timelines and whatnot. So it can be very nice to relax and expand. But also it's awesome to have certain container, structure, stability, which is so counterintuitive because we usually have, maybe when we're on a spiritual journey, a negative connotation when it comes to limitation, right? But limitation, and this is something to contemplate, limitation is literally creation. So literally the act, like literally that anything exists, for that there must be limitation. And you could pause the video now if you'd like to contemplate this on your own, why that might be. But basically, I first heard this quote, right? Limitation breeds creativity, when I thought it was more like a basic quote. Oh yeah, if you have only, from a candle, these things, right? If you, instead of having infinite, if you just have 4 of these sticks, I forgot how you call them. If you only have 4 of them, you must be much more, it challenges your creativity. You must be creative, and it's easier to also think of very specific things you can do with it. So that's where I first heard the quote. But later, what hit me is that it's actually much more profound than that. The answer that hit me about the profundity of that is that without limitation, literally no creation would be possible. And what that means is that imagine absolute infinity or absolute nothingness, non-existence. When we look at that, we know that nothing can exist without limitation, because in order to have a tree or a lamp or grass or a finger, in order to have anything, we must sacrifice not having something else, right? If we want to have a tree there, we have chosen certain consciousness qualities, right? Green, a certain texture, or all kinds of qualities. And therefore it can't be nothingness or infinite potential, because infinite potential, there's nothing. But as soon as we choose something, we can not have everything, because there's something. So literally making that first move from absolute infinity, where there are all possibilities, and we choose one possibility, we have chosen limitation from absolute unlimited infinity. Now, with that in mind, we know that creation would not be possible without limitation. And creation is literally the essence of creativity, right? So that same principle applies to us. And it might sound like a limitation, but limitation is actually a greater unlimitation, because truly it would be limited if we could only stay in infinity or nothingness, which in and of itself wouldn't be absolute infinity if it wasn't expressed in finity, in finite things and limitation. Because absolute infinity also not only includes infinity, but also finite things. A lowercase infinity would only be infinite. But an absolute infinity that includes absolutely everything also includes finite things. So in order for absolute infinity to be absolutely unlimited, it also needs limitation. And that actually makes it more unlimited, because infinity without finity, without finite things, wouldn't be... There is a greater infinity. There are more possibilities in that. And that, of course, is, it might sound super abstract, but that is what is our universe. That is what is that mountain and that little water sprayer that's not really working. So where I was going with this? Well, things snap into place and straighten out, and priorities come first when we are faced with limitation. So it not only makes us more creative, but it also enlivens us. A big topic when it comes to that, of course, is death. Death is the ultimate limiting factor, you could say, and also the ultimate liberator, making us infinite again. And without death, life would not be possible. And death is what enlivens us again, because when we really contemplate it, that is what makes life really something, really a precious thing, right? If there was no death, life wouldn't be nearly as precious as it is.